Okay, you're live.
Okay, thanks, Rick. All right, so welcome everybody to a special meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission of Montclair. It is January 18th, 2023, and we've called this special meeting specifically to address and discuss the resolution that we've formatted, that the commission has formatted for the Lackawanna project. This is a live, this is not a live meeting, it's a virtual meeting, and we are being broadcast on Channel 34 and also on the YouTube channel. So, Mr. Sibilia, could you call the roll, please?
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Ms. Bennett,
Present.
Mr. Hindman,
Here.
Mr. Rooney,
Here.
Mr. Reimnitz,
Here.
Mr. Graham, I don't know if you're
muted, Mike.
He was here earlier, so.
okay.
Here. Yeah, I'm here.
And Mr. Sweeney.
Here.
And Mr. Sibilia is our secretary. Thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. Thank you for taking the time out this morning. Before we dive into the matter at hand, I just want to give you an update on the resolution about the demo ordinance that we worked on, and I know Mr. Hyman put a lot of effort into it. It was tabled because of substantial changes that had been made at the EDC meeting. I requested that the change in the ordinance be tabled at the commission meeting, at the town council meeting, which it was. So we will be looking at that. I'll hand it back to Mr. Hyman, and if he could look at that, and we'll add our comments to the resolution for Lackawanna. What Tommy has done is he sent a clean copy of the resolution to everybody. And what I did is I asked for comments and edits and suggestions, and I incorporated the ones that I received. I hope I did it in a fashion that you're happy with. So what I thought we would do is we could go through, I'll go through the commissioners and ask them if they're if they think that I've been able to incorporate their comments in a successful manner, working on the copy that's in front of you that Tommy sent this morning, and if there's any other additional comments or edits, then Tommy will take that and he will make the comments and edits to it so that we get our final copy. So we're working on the final draft now. And I'll do this in the order that I heard back from people. So Mr. Sweeney, not Mr. Sweeney, Mr. Rooney, do you,
Yes.
You sent me comments. Are you happy with how I incorporated your comments and then the other question is, are you happy with the whole, or do you agree with the whole resolution in total?
I agree with the resolution in total and happy with your incorporation of the comments.
Okay, good. Okay, great. And then Mr. Graham, are you?
Yes. Yes, I'm happy with how the comments were incorporated into the plan, into the final resolution.
In the final resolution, and then with as far as the total resolution is the entire resolution. Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
great. Okay,
satisfied
great.
with how it turned out. Thank you.
Satisfied. That's a better word. Okay, John Reinitz, are you satisfied with how
I'm.
do you have
I
any?
still have a question. My comments had to do with
Adaptive reuse?
yes versus whether this allowed the developer to move things around on the site, or that adaptive reuse was specifically reusing those historic elements where they lie at the moment.
Yeah, and then I sent you the definition of adaptive reuse from the Secretary of Interior stanzas, which says that it's in the position that it's where they're located. But I did go through it to tighten up language to your point. Were you able to look at that?
I'm looking at it. I've read this whole thing and I don't see where that falls, but I guess I just
Okay.
want to be clear. That's all. And it's not clear to me. Although
Okay,
the secretary, the interior standards, if that's the definition, I guess it all flows back to that. So I'm not sure who's reading this and how they interpret it and deep they get into this.
Well, and to your point, I made some notes from what you had sent to me, which were on finding number 2. I added maintain to the, it was to the stanchions, not to the what was it? Yeah, to the stanchions that maintain to the view shed, that the view shed should be maintained, which means that
Right.
to that. And then on number 9, we could add on bullet 4, we could add, I thought I added this. I'm sorry, I guess I
Retention in place or something.
say that again?
Right.
Retention
in
in
place.
place of historic features.
Right,
That's what I
okay, so
thought.
do you have that? Retention in place, right, and that's on bullet 4.
I got
So
it.
Tommy,
Right.
do you have that?
Yes.
Other than that, everything else, I am satisfied with.
Okay, great. And Jason? I incorporated your comments which into the in both areas, both in the whereas and also in the findings. Is there anything else that you think I should be added?
No, on a substantive level, I am satisfied with the incorporation of my comments. After we go through, I do have some things that I just want to point out, I guess, just grammatically and language-wise, that can be cleaned up, but that can wait till the end of the discussion.
Okay.
Okay. All right, great. And then Mr. Sweeney, you sent some things through last night. The one which I incorporated, but the one thing that I wanted to have a discussion about today was about building C, which, where is that? Where is that here? Building C. It was, because it was my notes, my recollection that we were of the opinion that building C should be eliminated.
Right.
But in your
It's on
comment.
page 5. It's right
Yeah,
before section 3 or bullet 3, section ID context. So that paragraph right above there.
Okay. The HPC Commission recommends that building C be eliminated to protect and enhance the view shed. Now, Mr. Sweeney, you said that building C be eliminated or substantially reduced.
Yeah, I can explain it. It's a pretty radical request that you eliminate a building. We're looking at Sightline and others, and so I view it as we can recommend that it be eliminated, but we ought to put in an alternative that the base dimensions be substantially reduced. And I think that's essential to have some sense that we're approaching it on a realistic and reasonable basis. So I would like to see alternatively, the commission recommends that the base dimensions of building C be substantially reduced.
So then the sentence to read, the HPC Commission recommends that, or the commission recommends that building C be eliminated or the base dimensions be substantially reduced in order to protect and enhance the view shed from Bluefield Avenue to the historic waiting room. Is that what you're proposing?
Well, I just said what I was proposing, that we leave it as a recommendation, that we eliminate it, but we add at the end the sense of alternatively, the commission
Alternative.
recommends that the base dimensions of building C be substantially reduced. You can spell it out further, but I'm talking about with depth, all
Yeah.
the base footage dimensions.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna concede that point, I think we should keep the language of that paragraph intact, and then, as Jerry suggested, add that language to the end. And rather than saying alternatively, maybe say at the minimum.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah, so just
I
so it
think
reads
that's
it.
a better way, yeah.
Mhm.
To indicate that
So-
it's not preferred as
Yes.
non-preferred, but alternative. That
Um,
they,
I could imagine a situation where the base is altered to allow the view through the base.
Right.
So, so I'm just throwing that out there more than changing the size of it. Maybe it's elevated so you can see underneath,
Mhm.
see beyond, something about more to the effect that the view shed is retained in any building that is constructed on the corner or something like that.
okay,
So-
maybe the way to approach it is as a backup or as a less preferred alternative. Commission recommends that the baseline dimensions be reduced, or another means be provided to prevent interference with the view shed.
Okay.
So it's given an alternative, and maybe they come up with a building with on columns or something, but who knows? With a lot of glass or something.
Right. So it would read, the commission recommends that building C be, are we still going to suggest be eliminated to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that paragraph stays intact, and we're just adding a couple
I was
sentences.
gonna add that this
At the end.
sentence before.
At the end, right?
Oh, never mind.
Okay,
Just add it as a separate paragraph or a sentence at the end of this paragraph.
It could be a sense at the end, but it's clearly defined as a less preferred alternative.
I thought Mr. Hyman was right to say at a minimum, and then we can just say reduced or altered, as Mr. Ryan has suggested.
yes, I think that the wording at the minimum, the base dimensions be
Reduced.
substantially reduced. Substantially should be in there,
reduced.
substantially
Yep.
reduced or altered in order to allow, we have to say why, in order to allow,
To
the view
prevent
shed.
interference with the view shed.
Right, to prevent,
Yeah.
This is what I have.
Or
right now.
blockage, I don't know which, interference or blockage of the view shed.
This is what I have right now. To add at the end of this paragraph. At a minimum, the commission recommends that the base dimensions of building C be substantially reduced or the building be otherwise altered so as not to interfere with the view shed to the waiting room building.
That's fine. I mean,
That's
that's
good.
fine with me.
should we add a directional to the northwest?
I don't think you need that.
No.
All right,
Because also, remember Ira was saying they're incorporating those pictures into the plan of the existing view shed, and that's going to be a standard that they're going to use when judging the building massing and architectural proposals.
okay. So Mr. Sweeney, any other,
Yes, but the other was not substantive, more formatting. I realize that, and at least my sense is, the last whereas clause, which talks about the commission reviewing the draft plans, that probably should have been the fourth whereas clause. In other words, it should have been on page, it should be on page 1 after the third one. So it's rearranging because it talks about the commission reviewing the plans, and I reorganize this. You got to get a sense of there were the plans prepared, the township referred it, we have the authority, we looked, and now I want to say, and we looked at it, so. But I would also have a little bit of a revision of that whereas. And so first, so I'm clear about this, it's the last whereas clause on page 4 would become the fourth whereas clause on page 1. In that
Right, and
whereas,
that's where I had it originally, and then I moved it because I moved it. And actually, that was a whereas that I had in 2 places. So,
oh, okay,
I-
I'm sorry. I'll explain what I would do. I would first, I would move it back so it's sort of a sequence of going through all the
right,
things. And then I would add that the commissioners each provided their comments on the plan. This is a revision to it. I'm not giving you the text, I'm just giving you a concept. That the commissioners each provided their comments on the plan. And then the commission deliberated on January 12th as to its findings regarding the plan, and I'm sorry, its findings and recommendations regarding the plan. So part of the changes we made in the reorganization is some of those whereases were changed rightly to findings by the commission. That is, we found facts based on our evaluation. So now I just wanted to have that whole and revised whereas clause as number 4. And that sets everything up. Then we have this is our authority. Then we've got the other things, the background, and then we've got the actual findings we made before we come to the specific recommendations.
Okay, so this is what I have. This whereas moved to number 4 and would read, whereas the commission reviewed the June 1st, 2017 draft plan. Wait, this date is incorrect. Right? This date needs to be updated.
that's the old one. You know what? You're right.
Okay.
So it should be December.
December 2022.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It doesn't have
Actually,
a
I
day,
thought
it
we
just
had
has the month. Okay, so the commission reviewed the December 2022 draft plan. Phillips Price, I don't know, has Griegel, and he's out prepared by this firm and provided individual comments to the commission secretary and deliberated their findings and recommendations on January 12th, 2023.
that meets my
Mhm.
I suggested changes.
And then
Okay,
there's
Tommy,
a
wait a
one
minute.
that
Can you
says
read that?
Yeah.
Could you read that again? Whereas the
Sure.
commission reviewed the December 2022 draft plan prepared by Phillips Price Hughes LLC and Smith and Marin Architects and deliberated on January 12th, 2023.
So I'm
Then-
adding a clause there. So the December 2022 plan prepared by the firm, comma, provided individual comments to the commission secretary, comma, and deliberated their findings and recommendations on January 12th, 2023.
Wait. Did we review, well, wouldn't it be and delivered on January 12th, 2023? Jerry, what did you say at 2023 and have,
No, it's these first four whereases, first 5 would be really introductory. This whereas clause really sets forth that we heard from the we reviewed the draft. Each of the commissioners submitted comments, and then we deliberated with respect to the plan on January 12th. and with respect to findings and recommendations. Now, if you want to connect it all, you can add a final phrase, which are set forth in this resolution.
Then you go, okay, so whereas the commission reviewed the plan and delivered on January 12, 2023, their recommendations are set forth in this resolution?
Okay, here's what I have. I'm going to read it all again. Whereas the commission reviewed the December 2022 draft plan prepared by the firm, reviewed the provided individual comments to the commission secretary, and deliberated their findings and recommendations as set forth in this resolution on January 12th, 2023.
That sounds great to me.
That
That
sounds good.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, so that'll be moved to number 4. Fourth whereas. Okay.
Right.
Any other comments, Jerry? Before we go back?
Yeah, it's a general, I think it was excellent. I think it conveys it. My question is whether there's a value when this is submitted to the resolution, submitted to the planning board, that we include the collective comments by the commissioners. Granted, the collective comments are not commission statements, but they are commissioner statements. So that's not a change to the resolution, but it's a suggestion that when we forward it to the planning board, we also include the collective statement of all the commissioner statements.
So where I think the planning board is overwhelmed by things to read, I don't think that would serve much purpose.
I'm sure they have the ability to select.
Yeah, and we do have our representative from the planning board, Mike Graham here.
Mike Graham.
Who I think, yeah, is entirely conversant in everyone's, recommendations. So I, for one, would not think that that's a good suggestion. I mean, if anybody wants to read our individual suggestions, they're certainly able to, get in touch with our secretary. I'm not saying
what I would, not to interrupt here, what I would suggest is this is our collective agreement here. I don't think it helps to show individual comments where we may not all agree together. Just gives rise to someone pointing at someone's comment and say, well, this person said this, even though these guys, even though they came to this. I think, the point of doing this is our collective resolution.
I agree with Mr. Reines. I think what the board is looking for is the points that we agree on, and packaged, in a relatively neat package, so it's something that's simple to digest and something that can be incorporated as part of our larger report. I respect what Mr. Sweeney's saying. I think there were some interesting points articulated in our notes, but I think for purposes of the board's report and review, this document probably would be the best work product to send over to the planning board. I think they're looking for it to be efficient in terms of articulating the concerns of the commission within our larger planning board report.
In the circumstances, as Mike serves on both boards,
Yes.
he has the ability to select, and I agree that under those circumstances, it would not be appropriate. I think it would be appropriate just to complete what we have in the resolution as our formal report. So I'm satisfied with that, and I think we're all. I think the resolution as done adequately conveys our findings and our recommendations. That's what we were asked to do. So I'm happy with that.
Okay, thank you. So going back to Jason, you had some comments on, I think, I don't know what,
Yeah, just some general comments, and some of it is just stuff that I had sent to you and you included, and that on reflection, I'm like, that might not be perfectly accurate. Maybe we can clean that up. But overall, I want to say to Kathleen and Tommy, you guys did a fantastic job with the initial
did.
draft
Here.
and incorporating
Kathleen did all of
comments.
it.
So absolutely,
I don't need any credit
commend
for
you
this.
both.
Kathleen, you is incredible. The work.
Yeah.
That's great work.
thank you.
So the first overall comment is more of a procedural thing because they were compiling different comments and language from different folks. In the final, Tommy, if you could just clean up some of the language so that it's consistent. Sometimes it refers to the plan, sometimes it refers to the redevelopment area. I'm sorry, sometimes it refers to the plan area, sometimes it's the redevelopment area. That's just the product of different folks adding language. So in the final product, that'll be cleaned up and more consistent. So that's something we could just agree on as a general amendment.
Right.
And then the second point was the first full whereas clause on the second page. It's the one right after the bullet points. That whereas clause was one that I included, but then the next whereas clause also talked about the same points in a more comprehensive way. So I think we could kind of combine that into one paragraph that would read, whereas the planning board of the township of Montclair has adopted a historic preservation element of the master plan, which has identified, and then cut out the rest of that paragraph and then just join it to the next one.
Right, okay, I wondered about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going, got it. I was gonna call you about that, Jason, it was too late. All right, so identified the Lackawanna Plaza redevelopment area as within the town center.
As being within.
Supervisor said that their last road trip want us to let them go. Do you think I should stop the cars from going into there?
I
Side?
think
I don't know. I'm on a meeting right now.
Oh,
Supervisor did that. I don't know.
Oh, well, I say maybe you're the cause of any.
Steve, mute
Make
your.
it turn here. No, they-
Tommy, can you mute Steve?
I'm trying.
There we go.
Okay. And then, oh, go ahead, Kathleen.
no, I was agreeing with you because I thought
Okay.
the same thing and we can, yeah, absolutely. And what else,
Oh.
Jason?
So wait 1 sec. Let me make sure I have this right. Whereas the planning board, blah blah blah, which has identified the Lackawanna
Adopted.
Plaza redevelopment area as being within.
No,
the
no,
town?
no. No, whereas the planning board of the township of Montclair has adopted a historic preservation element of the master plan, which has identified the Lackawanna Plaza redevelopment area as being within the town center. But, and then all that,
Okay.
and,
okay.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
so
and
Tommy,
then we could,
basically what you're doing on that second paragraph, just delete that whereas, and then on the paragraph above that, delete everything after
Identified.
has identified. So the
I just wanted to
redevelopment
make sure I
area
had
as
that.
being designated can get deleted, and everything after that, plus the whereas of the next paragraph, and then they just combine the two paragraphs.
Yeah,
And
so
changing is to as being.
Yes.
Okay.
it's one whereas class. In other words, it's combined into one clause. One
Yes.
where,
I got it.
And then let me know when you're ready for the next comment, Tommy.
I'm ready.
Okay. So the very next paragraph where it talks about the historic structures and the history of Montclair and the railroad being instrumental. The third line where it says was instrumental to the secession of Montclair from Bloomfield. Just clean that up. I don't know if you want to put the area that was to become Montclair or reference specifically Speartown, but just a point of historical accuracy.
So instrumental to the secession of the area that would become Montclair.
From Bloomfield.
Okay. Got it.
And that's it.
Okay. Yeah, because we always forget that Montclair really wasn't identified as a town until the 1860s. So the railroad came in before that. So it would be to the secession of the area that would become Montclair. Okay. Right, and then afterward, its incorporation, so. Okay, that sounds good. And then everything else with the findings then. Because John had, especially John, you have, the one thing that we did go over was number 9, bullet 4, replace the second sentence with the retention in place of historic features.
Right.
Okay. All right, so then we agree on this document with the changes that have been discussed, which Tommy will make. Oh, and then the appendix. Did everyone get a chance to see the photos and the
Right.
appendix?
I
Um,
appreciated that. Yes, it was very good.
Yeah, they're not the best photographs. That the weather couldn't cooperate. And I did want to include for the view shed, the second photo. I mean, the top one, image 11, is the current one, the current view shed, and image 12 is a historic photograph from. But I think that's important because I think when people look at this site now, it looks so. I think it's what it can look like. I think it gives people an image of something that can be done there. So what do
Right.
you feel? I mean, because there's some question as to whether to include a historic photo.
No, I think it's great. Because it
That's
tells
good.
the
Okay.
story.
Right. And then we have the
Okay.
dome. Okay, so we're all in agreement that we don't vote on this, right?
Yeah, it's a resolution, so
Oh,
we
we
can
do.
do a roll call vote. So someone needs
Okay.
to make a motion to approve the resolution as amended during this meeting.
I'll make that motion to approve the resolution as amended.
I'll second.
Second?
Second. Yeah.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. Good work. So Tommy, if you could do those changes and then send it to everybody? I'm hoping you could do it this morning.
I can do it. I can
Is
do
that
it right after
possible?
we get off this call.
Okay.
Okay.
And then this will go to the planning board. When will they get it? Will they get it tomorrow or?
I'm going to talk to Janice about that procedure to see how that's done. I don't know if it's emailed or if it's included in the next round of packets. I'll ask her and I'll figure that out and I'll let you know.
Probably have
Okay,
to email
because
it, Tommy, because I think our meeting's on Monday, so
Monday,
we're gonna have,
yeah.
right?
Okay, so your
So as soon
packets
as-
your packets may be going out today then, so we can get it in there.
Okay,
That would be
great. And if you
great.
could email it around too, I think that would be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. See you at
Great.
the
Good job.
February
Need to
meeting.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Favor.
Okay, thanks, Tommy.
Aye.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Good
Thanks.
day.